With all the constant movies, TV shows, and everything else we're getting out of the MCU, and how they're focusing a lot on heavy nostalgia from actors who formerly played characters, it's very easy to see that people are getting burnt out pretty quickly with this, and because of this ever-expanding multiverse, it's getting kind of annoying for people. I forgot to put an intro, so good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. I don't hate what they did with it at all, don't get me wrong. They just kind of had a lot of lackluster adaptations to go along with the cameos of multiversal variants, I guess. Specifically in Doctor Strange, where the super soldier got one-shotted, smartest man got spaghettified, and the rest of the Illuminati getting cooked so hard by Wanda. Now, Wanda's strong, like stupid strong. She almost took down Thanos by herself. But man, come on. What in the world was this entire scene? Like, I liked this movie, and this whole scene still made me incredibly angry when I was watching it. Anyways, getting back to my point, all of these multiversal characters getting cameos from Fox and Sony, it's not a big deal. It's not that big of a deal. People are making it out to be a really big deal. It's not that big of a deal. Marvel didn't do great with the multiverse. They've been trying really hard with it, but it's just not getting the reaction that they hoped. They really just throw characters in there to get oohs and ahs out of everybody, but the crowd, whenever they see someone they used to like, just think of, oh, they're just trying to milk us for more money.
Hey, it's me. Knock, knock. So, you got my money?
If you're going to have a cameo from another universe show up, they should be a main integral part of the story. Like with Wolverine and Deadpool, they co-hosted basically that entire movie, and it was done really well. Hugh Jackman did really, really well with it. That's a good example of what a multiversal cameo should be about. What I'm trying to say isn't that everyone you implement into the movie has to be an integral part of the story. It's just that when you throw in a random side character just to get a reaction of the audience, or for people to come to the movie, that's not a great look for a studio that's making billions. However, cameos aren't something new that just happened in Marvel all of a sudden in the last 10 years. They've been literally doing it since day one. They've been making sure that all their characters in the entire universe can be interconnected, which is the right way to do a cameo. A quick scene that says, hey, these guys, they're both a part of the same world, or a larger team up is the best way to go about this crap and bringing a universe together. An interconnected, overarching universe needs a bunch of little different cameos from characters that are going to be in future projects. That's why there's good cameos and there's bad ones. Basically, we didn't need all that Illuminati, but bringing back Logan back into 616 or 19999, whatever Earth it is, was a good choice. Wolverine is such an iconic character that was bound to be brought back at some point, especially with the X-Men rights finally getting all handled up by Marvel. Of course, they were going to bring it back in at some point. A cinematic universe needs to have all these cameos and different characters, and there's nothing wrong with that. It makes sure that all these characters and the fans know how big the world is. The problematic part with these cameos is now trying to integrate all these characters that they have the rights to into one big interconnected multiverse. The amount of spaghetti-stranded, branching, twig, wrinkly, vein timelines all coexisting now being meshed into one big mess is going to be very hard to do. But since the beginning that was going to happen, you're always going to have to make sure that these characters would appear, and then the question comes up of how do they fall into the timeline and where? And that's where the multiversal aspect becomes so important for these stories. Y'all hate to see it, but it's got to happen at some point. The multiverse was always going to be expanded upon and utilized more in so many different ways, no matter what they're going to do. It was always going to happen. Marvel's already taken the plunge and made so many decisions with the multiverse that they aren't just going to stop because some nerds came out and said, they really failed with the multiversal saga. We need to end it. Like, bro, come on. No shit that they need to end it. No shit they failed. What do you think they're trying to do with these upcoming movies? The biggest misconception that I've seen among all these quote-unquote fans is that the multiverse is just going to be a forever part of the MCU, now that they've introduced it a ton. But no, that's not going to happen. They're going to end it, just like any saga. Chill. Avengers Secret Wars and Doomsday have been hinting at a soft reboot for the main timeline so that we can get a little bit of reset among these characters. Comics reboot
A moron, they retcon. They don't reboot all the time. They retcon like 95% of what they originally said, but they don't reboot
all the time. The comic continuity is really, really hard to follow because they go through and they reboot it all the time, which is why it's good that they're doing this in the movie version, because it'll be able to explain it a lot better. So why wouldn't they be leading into doing that with the shows and movies that they're literally adapting from comics? You guys want comic accuracy, but you want it without doing something that you disagree with. Just because parts of the fan base are saying we need to stop the multiverse doesn't mean that they're just going to come out with the next movie and ignore all the past multiversal aspects. What kind of continuity is that? It wouldn't make any sense story-wise, and you don't have to enjoy the multiverse, but it was always going to happen with Marvel obtaining the rights to their biggest heavy-hitting characters and continuity issues from past movies. The Sonyverse and Fox era are now fully over, and you can heal your wounds however you want to with that, whether it be watch more Marvel, watch less Marvel, whatever. But now Marvel is finally healing. They've got to fix their continuity, bring back some of their dead characters and make them less majors, and focus on who we've been missing out on the last 20 years. The multiverse will collapse. Don't worry your pretty little head about it. But it's not just going to stop being a plot because you want it to. Doomsday will act probably as a soft reboot and give us some fresh takes on many fan-favorite characters. Like, many people miss T'Challa, and that will all be explored hopefully after this soft reset. Whether they recast or just new cast fan-favorite characters to bring them back to the limelight, if you're a comic book fan or have any common sense or do any research at all, you can see that so much is still great about the multiversal saga, and you can still get so many new and old characters that fans love. Honestly, if you haven't realized at this point that they're working towards a multiversal collapse and into bringing the whole MCU timeline together, then I don't know if you've really been paying attention, because the X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Avengers all need to be characters that interact with each other. And all these characters being on one Earth would make sense. I don't think you've been paying attention if you don't know that. I hope that they can at least cast new faces among these characters with this multiversal aspect. This can include, but is not limited to, all of the Fox X-Men, T'Challa's Black Panther, and Ghost Rider. With that being said, let me know what you think about the multiversal aspect of Marvel and who you would like to see recast, who you're looking forward to see in this new, easy-to-understand timeline. And all my other socials are on the screen now, so check it out if you're interested, and enjoy your day. Bye now.